guys, this is Lynn Wilson with Lynn Wilson Originals here in Mills River, North Carolina. And today I am going to be going on the Chalk Paint 101 page at 4 o'clock. And I'm going to be demonstrating colored waxes, white wax and dark wax, on two pieces that I've been working on. And before I do that, before I apply colored wax, I always like to seal my paint first. Because chalk paint is so porous, it really does just suck in the wax or the color. And with colored waxes, in particular, like a dark wax, I want to be able to control how much goes on. And so if you seal it first with either clear wax or satin clear coat or gator hide, you'll be able to wipe back the wax, which is what I want to be able to do. So I've got two pieces here, and I'm going to seal. I thought it would be a good opportunity to show the two different types of sealers: a clear coat, satin clear coat, or which is kind of like a water-based poly, or wax. And so the clear coat that I use is Belle. It's Bell's satin clear. It's just got kind of a subtle shine to it. And the wax I use is also Belle, the best staying wax in clear. And one of the nice things is this is water-based, and you can add paint to it. So you can change this color to be any color you want, which I'm going to be doing today because I ran out of white wax, and I'm going to have to add a little white paint to turn this white. So when I apply the satin clear, I use what Dixe Belle calls, I'm not speaking today, their Gator hide sponge. It's just it's got super small pores in it. I've tried using regular sponges or car wash sponges, and they just don't seem to go on as smooth. The other thing I do is I mist it with my water bottle. So you don't want it super wet, but just a little damp. So I'm going to use the satin clear coat on this piece. And the reason being, I want a smoother finish. This is pretty rough, and so this one I'm going to use the wax on. But so I take my clear coat out of the container and put it into another container, just so I don't contaminate my clear coat. And then just dip my sponge, get a little bit on there, and just start swiping over. You don't need a whole lot, and if you get bubble or drips or drops, they can dry a little yellow. So always try to make sure that I don't have any globs anywhere. So this one I'll be adding white wax to. I just want to kind of tone it down a little bit. I think the white wax will make it blend, the bottom blend with the top a little bit better. And I am not going to seal the top yet because Dixe Belle's come out with some new transfers, and they have some that are called Nautical Life. And I thought that would be just perfect with my little girl here, my mermaid, or she kind of reminds me of what would go in the front of a ship. So I'm going to add a couple of transfers to the top of the table, and I would rather do that before my paint is sealed. It kind of gives it a little something to hold on to. But particularly where I want the white wax, I'm making sure that I'm getting it sealed first. And before I started this, I just gave it a light sanding with, it was probably like a 220 grit, because the chalk paint can feel a little rough. I don't know about your experience, but generally when I'm around people and they're looking to like get furniture, they always touch it to feel like what it feels like. And you want that to be kind of a smooth feel. So I'm going to put the white wax in these details. This is glued on. This is from Wood You Bend, and it's a wood composite that I heated up and I glued it on to give a little more detail. And this gives it sort of a subtle sheen. if you want to maintain that really matte look that chalk paint is known for, then you'd probably want to use a wax. And I'm going to be demoing the wax on this other piece, mainly because it has so much texture that I'm afraid that I would get areas that might drip. And this top coat, this satin clear coat, is water resistant. Belle also makes a top coat that is waterproof, and that is their Gator hide. I find it a little bit more challenging to work with because it has a shorter open time. So if you start working it too much, you'll start to see streaks. So what I usually do, if I'm using Gator hide, which I might end up doing on this table, I'll put on a coat of satin clear first because it has a longer open time, and that makes your piece a little less porous, so the Gator hide goes on more smoothly. So that is the satin clear coat. And they also make this clear coat in flat and in glossy, but satin's my favorite. Now these, I used sea spray. You can see it kind of created some texture. You can see the bumps through here. And my base color that I painted in was Antebellum Blue. Then I went over it with Haint Blue and a color wash of a mixture that I made blending Peacock and Kudzy. So for this one, I'm going to use wax. And Belle has just come out with this new little wax brush. You could use it for paint, but it's nice for wax because it's got a point on it, so I'm going to be able to get into these grooves. So with your wax, this is also one of the challenges. This is going to be wiping it back, because you want to, generally you'd wipe your wax back, but I've got all this texture, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging to wipe back. So I'm just going to put a very light coat of wax on here that I don't really have to wipe back. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to apply a brown wax on top, but I do want to be able to control that. I don't want my whole piece to start turning like a brown, look dirty and brown. And as long as I have this coat of wax underneath here, I'll be able to do that. This brush is super nice. This is actually my first time using this brush to apply wax, and it is, gosh, it's making the job so much easier. And again, right now I'm using, this is the Best Dang Wax and Clear, but you can add paint to this, a dollop of paint, and change the color, which is what I'm going to do this afternoon, because I thought I had white wax, because Belle makes a white wax. Make white, grunge gray, brown, and black, but I just looked at my supplies and I'm out of white. So I will be adding some white paint to my wax to do the table that we just sealed. And I don't mind, you usually want to wipe back your wax so it does, you know, your piece doesn't feel sticky. I don't mind right now if this feels a little sticky. Plus it's going to go on a wall. So that's got a pretty good coverage. I hope you guys have a great Saturday afternoon. Bye-bye.